As I've been working on my dad's bike, I noticed the tires are pretty bald. So before I take it out on any long rides, I'm gonna go ahead and replace the tires. When it comes to tires, there's so many different options. After talking to some people and getting some good input and advice, I went ahead and decided what kind of tires I'm gonna put on the bike. So we're gonna go ahead and get these pulled off, and we're gonna throw some new shoes on it. I got the floorboard and brake pedal off over here because I'm in the process of fixing that brake pedal because it's extremely bent. And then I got to get it jacked up so that way both tires are off the ground. All right, so the back tire is off. Got our clearance under here. And actually, now that I'm thinking about it, this might be the perfect time since gonna have the tire off. Might just take the swing arm off and powder coat that. One thing about this Bassani exhaust is it ends right at your freaking axle bolt. So whenever I'm taking something apart, I always try to have a little something to put my parts in, and then I'm just gonna put the right side on this side and the left side on the left side. Also too, I always take pictures of everything because I'm gonna pull this off and it'll probably be a little bit before I actually install it again. So I don't know about your guys' memory, but a lot of times I forget. So it makes it a little easier to quick reference, be like, oh yeah, that's how it went, or that's where those spacers went, so on and so forth. Pulled the axle out. Now that I got the axle out, I loosened the belt tensioners here. Just pushed it forward, pulled the belt to the side. With it on the lift, I can actually just pull this plate out and then drop the tire out that way. So if you guys never taken your rear tire off, basically all you're gonna do is you're gonna jack the bike up, make sure the tire's off the ground, then you're gonna loosen your axle nut. You'll pull the axle. I like to loosen my, I forget what these are called. On like a dirt bike, they're always called like your chain tightener, but basically it's just to get your adjustment for your pulley. Get those things loosened up. That way you get a little bit more room in there. Then once you have those loosened up, you can kind of, and you pull your axle, you can push the tire forward, pull the pulley off, and then you just got to get your brake caliper, which I'll do that here in a second. You got to pop that off and then you can pop your tire off. I'm actually going to try to use my lift here and remove this little thing and see if I can pull the tire out that way. Would you look at that? Like it was made for it. Tell you what, having a lift and having that little scissor lift underneath to jack your bike up with it strapped down makes this a heck of a lot easier. I can't tell you how many times I've done it on the garage floor fighting it. It's nice when things are actually a little bit easy. If I go up high enough, it'll probably just come out the bottom. All right, so the back tire is off. Let's get the front off. So what I'm doing here is I just have this Harbor Freight little flimsy chalk on the front of this thing. It's only 2 bolts. So I'm gonna just remove these 2 bolts. That way when I get this tire loosened up, I can actually just roll the tire right off the front. Make it a little easier. So on this side of the axle, there's that hole that goes through it. I just stick a screwdriver in there and then I work it out after I have everything else loosened up. Pull your axle out. He's got those aftermarket big calipers on there. So you just gotta take those brackets off right here. This bolt and this bolt. That way you can pull your caliper off, because if you see, those calipers are not gonna allow this wheel to come off. So it'll just be these 2 bolts on each side, and then we'll be back in business. Probably a better idea to get these off before you take the wheel off, but I totally forgot. It's been a while since I've taken the tires off a bike. Now this is definitely something I'm gonna want to take a picture of, because these are those aftermarket caliper adapters for these forks, and he's got a couple washers in here getting the spacing just right, so I want to make sure I replicate that. All right, so we got the tires off. See how bald that one is. Front one isn't terrible, but he was running the Michelin Commander 2s on there. I'm gonna switch him over to the Metzeler Cruise Techs. He's got a lot of good reviews. Let's talk tires. When it comes to V-twin tires, cruiser tires, there's a million options, and kind of seems like most of the tires are designed for longevity and tread life, but for this application and a lot of Dynas, FXRs, all that kind of stuff, performance is kind of what you want. Everyone's building these bikes for speed and cornering. So with that being said, let's talk about the elephant in the room. These Metzeler Cruise Tech tires, they have a elephant on them, and I was always wondering what the deal is with the elephant. I did a good old search on the old interwebs, and there's a couple different opinions out there. Some people say that back in the early 1800s, Metzeler was using elephants to haul their rubber out of the jungle, and they wanted to kind of have something symbolizing their roots, and also that their tires were really durable and resilient, kind of like an elephant. So that's one thought process behind it. But then the other thing I found is they said that in the early 1900s, they had a motor show, and in that motor show, they had an elephant come in and trample their tire to show the durability of their tires. So basically, my conclusion is the elephant just represents that their tires are strong and durable. So after doing a bunch of research, talking to some buddies, basically the consensus I came to was the Metzeler Cruise Tech was the tire for me, and we'll just talk about it a little bit and kind of go over why I chose it and why I think it's gonna be the best tire for this bike. But first off, when it comes to the rear tire, the stock FXR tires are pretty like narrow, and they're kind of small. So I was talking to a buddy, and he suggested that I try to run the MU85 on it, which is gonna be a little bit wider and a little bit taller. And then it also has a better load rating. So we're gonna go ahead and see if this one's gonna actually fit. There's mixed opinions on it. Some people say it does. If you're running a chain on your bike, it will for sure fit. But when you're running the pulley, the issue is right here. The tire's a little wider, so it might actually rub right here. We'll throw it on there and see. If it does, it's not a big deal. I'll just get some spacers for the pulley and we'll adapt it over so that way it can clear it. But it is, I wanna say like less than a 1/4 inch wider, and I can't remember the exact specs, you guys can look it up, of how much taller. But it is gonna be nicer to have a bigger tire on the back. A couple things about this tire is it is a dual composite tire. So the other tire that I was looking at was the Pirelli Night Dragon. That's a really performance-based tire. But the issue with that one is it's super soft, which soft rubber is good for traction and handling, but also not very good for durability. So this one has a dual composite, and I think that's where this one's gonna really shine over the Night Dragon, is the fact that it has the dual composite. So you kind of get the best of both worlds is what I'm hoping. Obviously I haven't rode with this tire yet, so this is just based off of all the research I've done, some buddies that are running this tire and what they say about it. So it is a little more pricey than other tires. You can get some budget-friendly tires like the Shinko 777, I think it is. I don't know, for me personally, especially when it comes to bikes, tires aren't something I wanna go budget on. I'd rather spend more, have a quality product, just so that way I don't risk having one blowout. I mean, not to say that this tire can't either, but one other thing that I thought was kind of cool when I was looking at the tire stuff is, let me see if I can find it here, just the date when you get your tires. So even on your bikes now, it's kind of a good thing to know. You can check and see, hey, how old are the tires that are on my bike? This is 3724. So this is the 37th week of 2024 that this tire was made. So this tire is less than a year old. Another thing too is that when you're looking at tires, a lot of people probably wonder what some of these numbers mean. The 77H, that's gonna be your speed rating. So this is going to be rated for 130 miles an hour. Those are the reasons why I went with the Metzeler Cruise Tech. Just seemed like the exact tire that had everything I was looking for. The tires that my dad was running on this bike were the Michelin Commander 2s. Those tires have great reviews. They're kind of more of a harder composite tire, so they last a lot longer than these probably will. But like I said, I'm more focused on the performance than the longevity. This bike's not a daily rider, it's just a weekend rider and something that I want to have and get as much performance out of as possible. So we can take a look at the front tire. It's got the same tread pattern, and on the front tire I just went with the same size. So Nothing really different about the size of this guy, but here's the tread pattern. You guys can get a look at the angle of it. Like I said, these Metzeler Cruise Techs are pretty good with the angle. They're not more squared off like a typical cruiser tire, so that was another thing that appealed to me when it comes to these tires. So all right, we'll try to get these things mounted on there. Hopefully we don't have any issues with the back tire. If we do, I wouldn't be surprised, because it seems like everything is kind of that way. So let's get these things loaded on there. Also too, if you guys are running these tires, let me know what you guys think of them. I've seen a couple negative reviews, especially when it comes to the ones that are made in Brazil. I believe Metzeler is a German company, and they say the ones that are made in Germany are top notch. They say the ones that are made in Brazil aren't. Whether there's any validity to that, I'm not exactly sure. These are made in Brazil, so that kind of sucks if that is true. But then again, I don't know how you can go about being like, oh, I only want the German ones if you're ordering them. I guess if you had them at a local shop, you could check them out yourself. But these tires, I had a heck of a time even getting these. My local retailer, he was sold out. He wasn't gonna be able to get any in until I think almost July. So I went around online, JP Cycles, Revzilla, all those guys were all sold out. So I actually got these from Chaparral Motorsports. I was just glad to get them because I didn't want to wait till midsummer to actually throw a set of tires on it, because the Michelin Commanders, my dad was running those things. The rear one at least is completely bald, and so I didn't want to ride it like that. But anyways, let's get these on there. One thing to always remember when you guys are installing your tires is check the arrow for the rotation. I know it sounds stupid, but if you got dual disc like this, it's not going to really be, it's going to kind of look the same for both sides. So it can be very easy to throw it on with the tread pattern facing the wrong way. Also too, good to check the rotation of when they install them. Some tire shops don't always get that right. So my rotation arrow is right here, aiming this way. So that way I know it's going the right direction for my application. Another good thing that I always do, which unless you guys have a great memory and can remember how everything came off, I always take a picture both sides so I know which spacer is which. And then also I put my parts, because I took this off a while ago. I put my parts for the left side of the bike and for the right side on each side, so that way it makes it a little easier and kind of helps you remember. Also, one thing, it's not a bad idea to throw some grease on your axle. This is just some Lucas Oil heavy duty grease used around the farm for farm equipment and stuff. I'm gonna throw it on here. I'm sure people will extra particular, but the way I look at it is a little grease, if it's heavy duty, is better than no grease. So So I always take pictures because, like on this bike, obviously he's running the later model calipers. So there's this bracket, and then he has a couple washers in here acting as a spacer for these brackets. And we get the proper alignment. And then also too, he's running a short nut to clear the rotor on this. So that's why I like taking pictures, especially on stuff like this, where it's not just, you can look it up and be like, oh yeah, that's how it's supposed to go. It's all custom and made to work. So that's just how my dad did things. So I've found that taking a picture will alleviate a lot of frustration when it comes to reinstall something on this bike. All right, the front tire is on there. Still got to clean the wheel. I should have done that before. Fits good. Always nice to see a fresh tire on something. Let's get to the back one. It's not fully attached just yet because I'm still getting everything dialed in. So obviously you don't need to have your rear fender off to do this. So all right, let's get this guy on there and see. All right, so this is kind of a terrible angle trying to show you guys, but there is a gap, I don't know, 1/16 or 1/8 of an inch. I'm gonna get it all tightened up and see if that gap stays. If not, I'll have to get a spacer, but there is a gap, and if that gap stays consistent, it's not gonna rub, and this will actually work, so fingers crossed. All right, so it fits. I still got that clearance. Like I said, it's minimal, but I think it's enough to run it. After I get everything back on it, I'll take it down the road and see. But as of now, you can check out the fitment on it. It's a little bit wider, a little bigger. I'll adjust the shocks to give myself more clearance here, and I might even extend them up, but this is just how it sits on its own weight right now. Let me know if you guys have ran this size tire with your pulley on there, and if you've had any issues and you had to space it. I know there was mixed reviews about it. I think I'm gonna be able to run it without having to space it. And then if I do have some issues, I might just chain convert it. I don't know. You get a little bit taller, a little bit wider. I think it's gonna overall improve the performance of it. I'm kind of stoked about that. I still gotta get some better shock hardware. As far as the exhaust, kind of leaning towards the Thunder header. I'm gonna be replacing this one. When it comes to exhaust choices, I am limited just because I do have the mid controls, so it does have to fit between here. The Bassani, obviously they work with the mid controls, but I'm thinking I wanna change it up to something other than Bassani. I do like the Stealth exhaust, but I'm kind of leaning towards the Thunder header just for that kind of like OG classic vibe, and those things sound really good on these motors. So let me know what you guys think, and then also too, if I should go with the black, do a black Cerakoted or a polished chrome. The one benefit I do get from running the Stealth is that it cuts off about here. So you do get more lean angle, but it is like the more modern, newer look. The Thunder header does come back here. It's a little longer, but those things sound really clean. So a lot of people compare them to like old classic rock and roll. It's one of those things you just can't go wrong with. So this is just a little update on the tires and the progress of it. So hopefully we'll get it riding soon, and let me know what you guys think. If you guys got these tires also, how you like them, and then also about the exhaust. And once again, if you guys like this video, go ahead and like and subscribe. Thanks guys.